Well, in just a few days, Joe Biden is going to be sworn in as president after the most controversial, contested, and crooked election in our history. Now, just to make sure that none of the 74 million Americans who voted for President Trump forget how much they hate him and us, Democrats in Washington impeached the president for a historic second time. This time, they used the phony excuse that he is responsible for the awful and inexcusable criminal assault on our Capitol by a group of anarchists who made up a very small number of the tens of thousands of people who attended a rally earlier in the day. Most of the people there were unaware that anything had even happened until they got back to their homes or hotels and saw it on the news. Now, while President Trump could have and maybe should have spoken sooner and more forcefully to denounce the riot, I've carefully read and listened to his entire speech that day. And to say that he caused it, it's ludicrous. But don't take my word for it. The most distinguished constitutional scholars of our land who neither supported nor voted for Donald Trump have dismissed allegations of President Trump having incited a riot as nonsense. But Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the angry mob of congressional Democrats decided that impeaching Donald Trump in the hours before he leaves office will somehow be good for the country. Now, these are the same Democrats who joined with the media all last summer in actually defending and supporting the rioting and looting of American cities and the deadly assaults on police officers all across the land.
What you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
I don't care that much about statues.
Shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
There's a fire going on behind you, dude. Don't know if you missed that or not. Look, no matter how many times I see those clips, I still have a hard time believing my ears. Meanwhile, conservatives condemned the lawless anarchy in our streets then and equally and forcefully condemned it when it happened in D.C. on January the 6th. There should be no double standards. But the left in America has gone way beyond a double standard. They have no standards, just emotional outrage, hate, and blind bigotry toward everyone who won't surrender to their iron fist. The second phony impeachment is being done without any evidence presented, no hearing, no witnesses, certainly no due process. You thought about this, serial killers like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer were given more due process than President Trump. And when a mob, whether it's rioters or members of Congress, and the media deny judicial process and rush straight to a verdict in sentencing, it's not justice. This is one mob reacting to another mob. And that is the logic of a lynching. I sure wish that members of Congress were as concerned about the destruction of the places of business owned by law-abiding citizens in Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, New York, or Los Angeles as they were by the destruction of where they do their business. And soon, yes, it'll be President Biden. He continues to claim that he wants healing and unity. But is that what he expects will result from the condescending rage directed toward the half of America who voted for President Trump? Look, I'd love to see the country come together and act like America again. But I'm not going to march willingly behind those who truly believe that voices like mine ought to be closed off from social media, are kept from employment, are freely harassed in restaurants, shopping centers, or public places. So if Joe Biden wants to unify the country to respect the rule of law for all, stop big tech from crushing competitors and conservatives, and move toward ending poverty, build some roads, stand up to China, and take care of our military and our vets. If you do that, I'm all in. But if you keep your pledge to push abortion even to the moment of birth and want taxpayers to fund the folly of letting 7-year-old kids surgically change their gender? Open the borders of our country with no controls? Punish work by taxing the people who have jobs to redistribute their money to those who refuse to work? And then force churches and faith-based colleges and organizations to surrender to views that violate the teachings of the Bible? Then count me out. That's not asking for my cooperation. That's asking for my surrender to an agenda that's antithetical to my faith, my family, and my freedom. And that's not a call for unity, but uniformity. It's not asking me for tolerance, but obedience. And it's not a call for healing, but for more hurt and hate. And to that, I'm pretty sure I speak for many of the 74 million Americans who will respectfully say, no thanks. Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell right next to it. And if you leave a comment, positive or negative, I'll be sure that my dog Toby sees it and responds to you in kind.